Good morning, class. Miss Johnston here, and today we are going to go geocaching. Now, if you've never been geocaching before, it's kind of a worldwide scavenger hunt where you get GPS coordinates and you have to try and find items that are hidden. So it could be a small box or it could be a bigger box, and maybe there's either a piece of paper in there where you sign your name to say you found that item, or there could be actual items inside where you can take one and trade one out. So we are going to explore some geocaches in the Windsor area today and learn about the land that we are on as well and what the land is used for, as well as some cool history about Windsor that I didn't know about, and maybe you know about it or maybe your parents know about it, but we're gonna find out about that today. So I will take you along on my run today, and we are going to go ahead and go geocaching. Also, if you try geocaching, just make sure you're being respectful of the land that you are walking on or exploring. We don't want to damage anything in the process of finding these geocaches. So I'm going to be following all those rules today, and I'm excited to take you along. Okay, so first geocache is going to be a micro, which means it's just a small one. Now, as I'm looking for this, I do have to be careful because we are by a store and we want to make sure that people that don't know about geocaching don't remove the cache. So I'm going to go ahead and try and look for it, and I will show you where I'm looking. Okay, so here's the geocache. So it says, official geocache game piece. If found by mistake, do not disturb. The game piece is logged at geocaching.com. So we are going to open this up. You can see there's a little book inside, and we're gonna sign it. Time to go see what else we can find. So let's head out. Now in this area, there is apparently a geocache, and I have a feeling it's on that bench. So I'm gonna wait for someone to pass and then we will look. See that thing right there? That's it. So here we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and open this one up and sign the log. So this one is super tiny, as you saw. There is just a little accordion style paper here. And there we go. Now, one of the reasons I wait for people to pass is not only so I can kind of move around and explore, but because people who don't know about geocaching, they're called muggles. So kind of like in Harry Potter. And the fear is that they'll move them or take them, and then people won't be able to find them. So you don't want to ever do that. If you find a geocache, you always want to put it back. So let's go find another one. So here's something pretty neat. Right now I'm running on an eco passage. So an eco passage is a crossing for wildlife and a linkage between natural areas. So this eco passage connects Spring Garden Natural Area and Oakwood Prairie, two areas that have been separated since Huron Church Road was constructed in the 1920s. The eco passage allows safe movement of two endangered snake species and other wildlife between the two natural areas. So this is where I am. Here is Spring Garden Natural Area. This is the eco passage, and then Oakwood Prairie. So that's pretty cool. And then that big road there, that's Huron Church Road. So that's pretty neat. So these are the two snakes that it's used for. So the eastern fox snake and the Butler's garter snake. So here is a picture, and here's how small they can be. Now, before we move on, I did want to show you this really cool map that shows you just where all the green is in Windsor. So here's Windsor, You can see there's the Spring Garden Natural Area. Over here there's Tallgrass Prairie Heritage Park, Ojibwe Prairie Provincial Nature Reserve. Then we have all of the city over here. And this trail that we're on, the green part, that can take you all the way to Tecumseh, and it can take you all the way in the other direction towards LaSalle. So something that is cool about Windsor itself is that it's flat. So lots of people can build here, or they can use it for farming. Now, one of the reasons that Windsor has so much building on it versus farming because of it being flat is because we are so close to water. Water is a resource that everyone needs. It's essential to living. So often you will find big cities built next to water. And of course, it being a border city, there's even more reason to have industry and building here because we are so close. So we are going to find another one, and I'm going to tell you something cool that I learned last night about Windsor that I did not know until I read 160 unusual places you need to visit in Ontario. Okay, so we're going to do one more cache, but I wanted to talk to you a little bit about something really cool that I learned about Windsor. So, back when Windsor was being built, there were a bunch of different smaller subdivisions within Windsor. So there's Walkerville, there's Old Sandwich Town, and there's another one that was supposed to be called Ojibwe. Now we have Ojibwe Parkway, we have the Ojibwe Nature Reserve, but there was supposed to be another area that was going to be used for the North American Steel Company. When they were digging to build this area for the industry to be built, they discovered that there was a lot of salt deposits in the ground in that area. So if you actually go to this area, you're going to find old sidewalks that were built in order to build these buildings and have a whole other town. So it's the town that never was. Now, the cool thing about the salt is that Windsor is actually has one of the largest salt mines in North America. So that is one of our biggest products that we have here. Now, it's a little farther away from me, and it's a little closer to the river from where I'm standing, but there's one on our side and there's one on the Detroit side, which is pretty cool. I did not know that salt was one of our biggest, one of the biggest things we produced, and hence why the salt company is called Windsor Salt Company. So that's interesting, and we are actually at the last site of the geocache, so I'm going to turn you around and we're going to look for it. So first things first, the clue is look at the sign and look to your right. So let's see. Okay, so the GPS is taking me right to here. I'm guessing this is the sign. So let's see if we can find a geocache. So I always like to look behind the sign. Nothing there. Now our last one was under a light post, so let's check underneath. And here it is. Now we can sign it. So 3 geocaches for the day. And usually they have bigger geocaches, but unfortunately I couldn't find any of those today. There were other ones I looked for that I couldn't find. And I actually brought some Lego characters to put inside if I found them, because usually you can take something and trade something. So let's go ahead and assign my name. And there we go. We're gonna return it right where we found it. Okay, time to head back home, and you are going to learn a little bit more about the land in Windsor in class.